What happens when a football star ditches his team for their biggest rivals? The world of football is no stranger to dramatic transfers, but few have been as shocking and controversial as the move of Luis Figo from Barcelona to Real Madrid. This transfer not only shook the football world, but also left an indelible mark on the history of the sport. Luis Figo knows, and it wasn't pretty. The Portuguese winger was at the peak of his career, adored by Barcelona fans and respected by his peers. His skill on the field was unmatched, and he was considered one of the best players in the world. But behind the scenes, a storm was brewing that would change everything. In the summer of 2000, Florentino Perez was running for the presidency of Real Madrid. Perez, a businessman with grand ambitions, knew that he needed a bold move to win the election. Real Madrid, one of the most prestigious football clubs in the world, was in need of a revival, and Perez had a vision to bring the club back to its former glory. Perez made a daring promise to fans he would bring Luis Figo, Barcelona's golden boy, to Real Madrid if elected. This was not just a promise, it was a statement of intent. Figo was the crown jewel of Barcelona, and the idea of him wearing the white jersey of Real Madrid was unthinkable to many. But Perez was determined to make it happen. Everyone thought it was a bluff. The football world was skeptical. How could Perez possibly convince Figo to leave Barcelona, a club where he was cherished and celebrated? The media, fans, and even football analysts doubted the feasibility of such a transfer. It seemed like a political stunt, a tactic to gain votes rather than a genuine plan. But Perez had a clever trick up his sleeve. He was not just making empty promises, he had a well-thought-out strategy. Perez knew that to pull off such a monumental transfer, he needed more than just words. He needed a concrete plan that would make it impossible for Figo to back out. He signed a pre-contract with Figo's agent, stating that Figo would join Real Madrid if Perez won the election. This pre-contract was a masterstroke. It legally bound Figo to the transfer, ensuring that if Perez won the presidency, Figo would have no choice but to move to Real Madrid. It was a high-stakes gamble, but Perez was confident in his plan. If Figo backed out, he'd face a massive penalty fee. The penalty fee was astronomical, a sum that would be financially crippling for Figo. This clause in the pre-contract was designed to make backing out an unthinkable option. Figo was effectively trapped, caught between his loyalty to Barcelona and the legal and financial implications of the pre-contract. Talk about a rock and a hard place. Figo found himself in an impossible situation. On one hand, he had the adoration of Barcelona fans and a successful career at the club. On the other hand, he faced the prospect of a massive financial penalty and the wrath of Real Madrid if he backed out. The pressure was immense and the decision weighed heavily on him. When Perez won, the deal was sealed. The election results were in, and Perez emerged victorious. With his win, the pre-contract came into effect, and Figo's transfer to Real Madrid was set in motion. The football world watched in disbelief as one of the most shocking transfers in history unfolded. Figo moved to Real Madrid for a whopping €62 million, making him the most expensive player at the time. The transfer fee was record-breaking, reflecting Figo's immense value and the significance of the move. Real Madrid had made a statement, and Figo was now the face of their new era. Barcelona fans were livid, feeling utterly betrayed. The reaction from Barcelona fans was swift and furious. They felt a deep sense of betrayal, not just from Figo, but also from the club's management. Protests erupted, and the atmosphere was charged with anger and disappointment. In his first match back at Camp Nou, Figo was greeted with boos, flying objects, and even a pig's head. The hostility reached its peak when Figo returned to Camp Nou as a Real Madrid player. The reception was nothing short of hostile, with fans throwing objects onto the field, including a pig's head, symbolizing their sense of betrayal and disgust. Talk about a hostile reception. The scenes at Camp Nou were unprecedented. The intensity of the fans' anger was palpable, and it was clear that Figo's move had left deep scars. The match was marred by the hostile reception, and it became a defining moment in the history of the rivalry between Barcelona and Real Madrid. This wasn't just a transfer, it was a seismic event. The transfer of Luis Figo was more than just a player changing clubs. It was a seismic event that shook the foundations of football. It highlighted the intense rivalries, the high stakes, and the emotional investment of fans in the sport. It was a moment that would be remembered for generations. Figo's move strained the already tense relationship between the clubs and left a permanent mark on his career. The transfer exacerbated the already tense relationship between Barcelona and Real Madrid. It added a fuel to the fire of their rivalry and left a lasting impact on Figo's career. He was now seen as a traitor by Barcelona fans, and his legacy was forever altered. He became part of Real Madrid's Galacticos and won many titles, but Barcelona fans never forgave him. At Real Madrid, Figo became part of the Galacticos, a team of superstars that included the likes of Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldo and David Beckham, who won numerous titles and achieved great success. But the shadow of his transfer from Barcelona always loomed large, and that, folks, is how one transfer changed football history forever. The transfer of Luis Figo from Barcelona to Real Madrid is a story of ambition, betrayal, and the high stakes of professional football. It changed the landscape of the sport and left a legacy that is still felt today. It serves as a reminder of the passion and drama that make football a beautiful game. Got any other jaw-dropping football stories you want to hear about? Let us know in the comments. Football is full of incredible stories and we love sharing them with you. If you have any other jaw-dropping football tales you'd like to hear, let us know in the comments. Your suggestions could be the next story we dive into.